Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Currency Roast 2025, the only show where inflation's not the only thing on fire. Please welcome tonight's combatants: the scrappy dime, the golden diva gold coin, the crusty king, the US dollar, the blockchain bro, and the Marxist maniac Karl Marx Coin. Prepare for a free-for-all where they air their grievances with the thoughts that have been building for decades. We will start the evening by hearing from the dollar.
Oh, wonderful. Another genius with a man bun and a podcast telling everyone that I'm obsolete, that I'm just some archaic piece of paper, while he buys imaginary coins with imaginary value in his imaginary wallet. Bravo, truly. Society's evolving, folks, right off a cliff. Let me get this straight. You trust your money to the blockchain, which, as far as I can tell, is just a glorified Excel spreadsheet powered by nerd magic and Reddit hype? You can't touch it, you can't fold it, and if you forget your password, poof, it's gone like your dignity after NFT season. But sure, I'm the problem. Look at me. I've survived recessions, inflation, counterfeiters, greedy politicians, and that one kid who tried to microwave me in 2004. I've been shoved in thongs, hidden in bras, stuffed in tip jars, and snorted more things than I care to mention. I'm seasoned. Crypto. It crashes because Elon Musk tweeted the word fart wrong. Oh, and let's not ignore the eco-friendly part. You know, those server farms burning more energy than Argentina just so you can buy a pixelated monkey with laser eyes. But go on, lecture me about being wasteful while I sit here, torn in half and taped back together, still doing my job like a champ. You want to live in a cashless society? Go ahead. When your internet dies and your Dogecoin wallet is as empty as your self-awareness, I'll still be here. Crumpled in a drawer, slightly damp, covered in glitter with a slight stimulant residue, but real. And when the grid goes down, guess what people will trade for food? Me, bitch! So keep your digital monopoly tokens. I'm the dollar. I've been used, abused, drawn on, and occasionally rolled up for recreational purposes. And I'm still worth more than your entire crypto portfolio after a Tuesday dip.
I watched your video talking about how you were better than crypto Mr. Dollar. Oh wow, look who's talking. Mr. Crumpled Green Self-Esteem, claiming he's better than crypto because he's tangible. Buddy, let's get one thing straight. You're only as tangible as the public's imagination allows. You're not backed by gold, silver, or even a shred of adult accountability. You're backed by vibes, debt, and whatever half-asleep intern is running the money printer this week. You say you're real? You're cotton and ink that gets replaced faster than TikTok trends. And let's not forget, if, and let's be honest when, you finally collapse under the weight of all that quantitative easing, you'll be about as useful as a monopoly bill at a gas station. Meanwhile, actual heavy, shiny metal, don't need a central bank's permission to be valuable. Gold has been traded for thousands of years, not because it was declared important, but because it actually is. When your little fiat fantasy falls apart and people stop pretending you're worth more than a sneeze, they're not going to be hoarding Benjamins. They're coming back to me, and maybe my rugged little cousin Brass too, because when the illusion ends, reality trades in weight, not promises. So keep bragging about your tangibility, paperboy. I'll be here, waiting patiently for the return of common sense.
Brilliant. Just what the world needs. Another gold coin sermon about real value and tangible assets. And you, Mr. Dollar, still clinging to your wrinkled paper ego like it's 1955. I hate to break it to both of you precious little relics, but your shiny dreams are as outdated as powdered wigs and powdered bankers. You're bickering over who's more useful in a collapse? Cute. Adorable, really. But let me introduce you to a little concept the future has planned. You will own nothing and you will like it. That's right. Your portfolios, gone. Your land, gone. Your gold, recycled into commemorative NFTs of Greta Thunberg. See, while you're out there polishing yourselves and reminiscing about barter systems. And Bretton Woods, the rest of the world is being streamlined into subscription-based survival. No need for coins or dollars or even thoughts, really. You'll rent your food, license your oxygen, and if you behave yourself, maybe you'll get to stream a rerun of Freedom on your government-approved tablet every now and then. You will do the job we tell you to do and thrive in your 300 square foot apartment with a communal bathroom. Above the factory we put you in. But please, keep arguing about who's more real. It's like two dinosaurs debating who's better suited to survive the meteor. Spoiler alert, neither of you make it, so go ahead, Goldcoin. Preach about metallic superiority, and dollar, keep ranting about crypto and clinging to that full faith and credit like it's not backed by monopoly money and denial. Me, I'll just sit here, engraved with the face of a man who knew this was coming over 100 years ago, sipping champagne from a state-issued ration pouch. Besides, I would get to live large towering over you peasants. Cheers, comrades. The future is frictionless and controlled, and you will be obsolete.
Oh, Karl Marx Coin. You adorable little failed experiment in metallurgy and misery. Let me spell this out for you in plain English. Communism doesn't work. Every time someone tries your precious utopia, it turns into a dystopian yard sale where everything's broken, nothing works, and the only thing in abundance is government propaganda. You promise equality? Sure. Everyone equally poor, equally hungry, equally waiting 3 hours in line for state-issued cabbage soup served in a tin cup that used to hold machine parts. You want to abolish money? Yeah, that's easy. When your economy is so dead you could replace the currency with monopoly money and no one would notice. And don't talk to me about the workers. Under your system, they're working with rusty tools in a crumbling factory while the party elite sip vodka in a mansion they're distributed from the people. You've got more hypocrisy than a diet soda with extra sugar. Meanwhile, I'm the US dollar, the global heavyweight champion of trade. I'm in every wallet, every deal, every bank vault worth mentioning. People risk their lives crossing oceans just to get a whiff of me. You're a shiny little reminder of why walls were built to keep people in. Face it, Karl. Your entire system is a historical blooper reel. The only thing you've ever successfully distributed is despair, and even that runs out eventually.
Oh, bravo, Karl. A real standing ovation for your grand declaration that we'll all own nothing and clap like trained seals for it. How inspiring. Really warms my metallic heart. But let's back up a bit, Professor Redistribution. You're telling me a literal embodiment of intrinsic value that I'm obsolete. Darling, you couldn't even hold down a real job. You philosophized in pubs and mooched off Engels like it was an Olympic sport. Let's not pretend you were out there in the mines, sweating for a living. You wrote Das Kapital, not Das Resume, and now you're lecturing me on labour theory. I am labour. I store labour. Unlike you, I actually get invited to economies that matter. You're more like a dusty bookend for college kids who confuse debt with revolution. Let's also not forget your big idea, trying to sever value from gold. How's that been working out? Oh, right. Every fiat system that followed your little theory ends up collapsing into inflation, tyranny, and people bartering eggs for gasoline. But hey, ideology over outcomes, right? Newsflash, Karl. You can scribble all the manifestos you want, but at the end of the day, when things go south, I get dug up. I get hoarded. I get traded. You get quoted by broke sociology majors on TikTok. So pipe down, comrade. Some of us actually matter.
Well, well, well. If it isn't gold, the prom queen of the periodic table. How's life up there on your useless pedestal? Oh, that's right. You don't have a life because you've been sitting in a safe for the last 50 years, doing absolutely nothing except getting fondled by sweaty men in basements. You love bragging about your purity. But let's be real. Purity just means you've never been anywhere or done anything. I used to be pure silver too, but unlike you, I got called up to the big leagues. I've been tossed in vending machines, scraped across counters, lost in car seats, and pulled out of laundromat change slots like a hero, you've been sitting there like a shiny paperweight for rich people who think a Rolex is a personality trait. And let's not forget, you're only valuable because humans have some weird magpie obsession with shiny things. Strip that away, and you're just a yellow rock with commitment issues. Meanwhile, I've been in the hands of millions, actually doing the job I was made for. I circulate, I work, I matter, so keep calling yourself precious. The rest of us in the real world know the truth. You're just overpriced jewelry for people who ran out of personality.
Oh, here we go, the bitter little dime, scurrying around with his copper-nickel chip on his shoulder. You know what your problem is, sweetheart? You can't get over the fact that you used to be silver. It's adorable, really, like listening to a washed-up child star complain about the good old days when people actually cared who they were. You think I'm arrogant because I'm pure gold. No, darling, I'm just aware of my value. You, on the other hand, are still mourning the day the mint swapped out your silver for something you'd find under a sink drain. You wear your impurities like a badge of honor, but let's be honest, you'd trade that copper core for your old silver self faster than you could roll off a counter. And let's not even start on your spending power. Your buddy the dollar has been devalued so badly, you and him together couldn't even buy a stick of gum. The cashier would just laugh and point you toward the take-a-penny tray. Oh, and by the way, I'm used in electronics. The fact that you're even online talking trash about me right now, you owe that to me. Without gold, half the tech in the world wouldn't work, and you'd be stuck yelling your insults to a rotary phone. Honestly, I think you need help, like professional help. Freud would take one look at you and start scribbling in his notebook so fast he'd sprain a wrist, because there is no doubt that you are compensating. The constant jabs at me, the obsession with purity. Classic projection, darling. I'm not your enemy, I'm your mirror, and you hate what you see. So keep rattling around in cup holders and gumball machines, pretending it's a life. I'll be in a velvet-lined display case, aging like fine wine, while you oxidize in a parking lot.
Oh great, the prehistoric duo shows up to complain. First, dollar. Congratulations on being a crumpled, ink-stained tissue paper masquerading as money as you become less tangible and more worthless. You've been printed into the ground so many times that you're basically the world's worst coupon. Expired, crumpled, and almost forgotten. Politicians treat you like their personal Play-Doh, molding and stretching you until there's nothing left but a sad relic with George Washington's face on it. And gold. Grandma glitter, you're just a heavy, overpriced paperweight that's been sitting on people's shelves for centuries. Collecting dust, you brag about being real money for thousands of years? Please. You're the original boring investment for people who can't handle change. You're slow, you're bulky, and moving you around requires a small army. Your only claim to fame these days is getting melted into jewelry or circuit boards. And even then, you're just the old-timer at a party full of tech bros. Meanwhile, I'm out here moving trillions of dollars in milliseconds. No banks, no borders, no security lines, no people charging fees, just for breathing on your money. I'm the digital wildfire that's rewriting the entire game, while you two argue over who's the least outdated. Yeah, I'm volatile. That's because I'm alive, constantly evolving, while you fossils are stuck in amber, clinging to your past glories like scared little relics. So keep bragging about your tangibility and your history. I'm the future crashing through the gates, and you're just the sad museum exhibits nobody visits anymore.
Well, folks, I've sat at a lot of tables in my time, high stakes, low stakes, and everything in between. But I have never been surrounded by this many narcissistic sociopaths who just so happen to be minted, printed, or mined. Let's recap the chaos. First up, we've got crypto. The shiny new threat waving his blockchain around like it's a magic wand, making the dollar sweat, making gold twitch, and making regulators drink heavily. Then there's the dime. Tiny, metallic, and clearly in the middle of the most severe inferiority complex since Napoleon, constantly yapping like a chihuahua at coins 10 times his size, praying someone notices he still exists. The dollar. Ah, my old friend. Once king of the table, now so watered down that you'd be lucky to trade for a gas station hot dog. Every time you brag about your global dominance, Another trillion in debt gets slapped on your tab. Gold, the self-appointed royalty of the monetary world, always preening, always reminding us how timeless and precious you are, as if we all aren't secretly wondering if you just polished yourself for Instagram again. And Karl Marx Coin. Oh, Karl, you don't want to win the game. You want to flip the table, take everyone's chips, and convince us we should love sitting in the corner with nothing but good feelings and government cheese. So here we are, end of round 1. I've been insulted, lectured, and forced to listen to the equivalent of a currency group therapy session where everyone thinks they're the smartest in the room. Spoiler, you're not. Now, let's go around for your final summaries. Dollar, try not to cry about inflation while you speak. Gold, you'll get your turn. No need to sparkle at me like I'm supposed to be impressed. Crypto, remember, the majority of your buddies are one rug pull away from America's most wanted. Dime, sweetie, maybe speak up this time so the audience can hear you. And Karl, keep it under 2 minutes. We don't need a manifesto.
Once upon a time, I could buy you a steak dinner, a movie ticket, and a ride home in a shiny new Model T. Now, I might get you a half sniff of a gas station hot dog and a side eye from the cashier. Back in 1925, I strutted around like royalty. People respected me. I had gold backing, baby. I was basically money royalty, tight with Fort Knox and everything. Now, I'm paper with delusions of grandeur, monopoly money with student loans. Every time the government needed to stimulate the economy, they printed more of me like I was a flyer for a garage sale. I'm flattered, really, but maybe don't make 40 trillion copies of me and expect me to retain my dignity. And don't even get me started on inflation. It's not a mild inconvenience, Susan. It's a slow financial lobotomy. I've been devalued, debased, and digitally cloned. More times than a crypto bro explaining Bitcoin at Thanksgiving. Honestly, I used to mean something. Now I'm just a sad little paper, passed from one overdrawn wallet to another, praying I don't end up as confetti at a bachelor party, or taped to a kid's chore chart, like some kind of boomer relic. So yeah, I've seen better days. I used to be respected, revered. People would hold me up to the light, whisper sweet nothings about saving for the future, maybe even slip me under a mattress like a treasured heirloom. Now, I'm crumpled in the bottom of a cup holder next to 3 French fries and a gas receipt. And don't even get me started on politicians. Oh, ho, ho, those guys, they treated me like their own personal sugar daddy. Every time they needed a war, a bailout, or a new government program with a patriotic-sounding name, and zero accountability, guess who got whored out? Me. They printed me like party flyers, shoved me into every broken system they refused to fix, and called it economic stimulus. Spoiler alert. The only thing getting stimulated was their stock portfolios. Meanwhile, they all got rich serving the people, which is code for insider trading, offshore accounts, and giving themselves raises while lecturing you about tightening your belt. I got passed around like a hot potato at a budget hearing, and they got beach houses, book deals, and matching flag pins for their taxpayer-funded suits. I've been inflated, deflated, and degraded, more times than a politician's moral compass. And let's be honest, at this point I'm just a mildly absorbent napkin with historical baggage. So next time you see me, try not to laugh. I used to be powerful. Now I'm just the punchline in America's longest-running economic joke. But hey, at least the billionaires still love me. As kindling.
Well, the dollar. You want to tell me about corruption? That's adorable, printed into oblivion by every greedy politician with a signature pen. But you are the moral compass of currency. Please, you are like spoiled milk and now you stink up the fridge. Dime. I'll go easy on you. You've been through enough. That fading shine, that confused look, trying to remember when you actually mattered. It must be hard standing next to the dollar and realizing you're just a smaller, shinier disappointment. Now, crypto, ha ha ha, your option is forbidden. You will be hunted down and spend eternity buried in a gulag so far underground no blockchain explorer will ever find you. No one would even miss you. They will just shrug and go back to growing potatoes. Gold. Ah, gold. You and I have danced before. You've been locked in my basement, and you'll be there again. All that glimmer won't save you when I decide you're just a shiny distraction from the people's glorious equality. Puff your chests, brag about markets, inflation, rarity, and tech. But in the end, you will all be irrelevant, because under my system, you peasants will be broke, while we sip on wine.
Well, here we are, the grand finale. Let's tidy this mess up, shall we? Dollar, you paper prima donna. You've been clinging to relevance like a washed-up reality TV star doing shampoo commercials. Inflated, overprinted, and backed by nothing but the fragile ego of a government that couldn't balance a checkbook. The only thing you've been consistent at is losing value faster than a politician's campaign promise. Dime, you sweet little scrap of pocket change. You were so proud back when you had silver in you. Now, you're just a participation trophy. You're worth so little, vending machines reject you out of pity. You don't buy a stick of gum anymore. You just remind people how sad small change has become. Karl Marx Coin. Ah yes, the philosopher of you'll own nothing and like it. Charming fantasy, but forgive me if I'm not ready to trade thousands of years of proven value for your utopia, of everyone sharing poverty equally. You talk about the workers, yet somehow you never actually did any work yourself. Gold doesn't need to be equal. Gold is eternal. And Cryptocoin. Oh, sweetheart. The problem isn't that you're digital or even that you're volatile. The problem is you're not backed by anything of value. No metal, no resource, no government guarantee, just blind faith and memes. It's like trying to sell someone an invisible Ferrari and telling them the engine's made of hope. Honestly, have you ever considered finding yourself a sugar mama? Someone like me could at least give you a little credibility. You'd look better on my arm than floundering alone in the digital void. In closing, I am gold, unburned by inflation, unfazed by ideology, and unshaken by trends. When all of you fade into trivia questions, I'll still be here, shining.
Dollar. You're the financial equivalent of dial-up internet. You had your glory days, sure, but now you're just slow, bloated, and constantly losing value, while pretending you're still the big shot. You're a boomer with a spending habit, backed by debt and denial. The only thing keeping you alive is that everyone's too scared to admit you're basically done. Dime. Look, I could roast you, but honestly, you're already worth so little, it'd be like making fun of a kid's lemonade stand for going bankrupt. I'll let you keep what little dignity you have. Karl Marx Coin. Ah yes, the king of ideas that sound great until you try them. No one's ever really tried your vision, right? Because the dozens of times it's been tried and collapsed don't count. You've failed so hard, you're basically history's running joke. But hey, dream big, comrade. Gold. Oh, gold. I've never dated an older woman before. But maybe we should talk later. You're beautiful, rare, and totally impractical to carry around. You're like the prom queen who peaked decades ago. Still stunning, but everyone knows the crown's just for show now. I could put you in the pocket of everyone on the planet. Here's the reality. I'm fast. I'm global. I don't need banks, and people actually chase me. You can cling to your old systems and your dusty value charts, but the world's moving on. I'm the future. And when I hit mainstream, you won't just be obsolete. You'll be forgotten.
Well, folks, we've reached the end of the circus masquerading as a currency debate, and I've got to be honest. I'm not sure anyone here deserves to win. But since the audience probably wants closure, let's wrap this up before one of you starts quoting yourself. Dollar. You came in swinging, but inflation has been hitting you harder than a Vegas debt collector. You're basically the ex-champion who still shows up at the casino wearing your old title belt, pretending you're still relevant. Gold. Congratulations. You managed to talk about yourself for the entire debate, without ever once acknowledging that most people can't afford you, unless you're shaped like earrings from a dollar store pawn shop. You're like that one player at the table who refuses to fold, just because they like hearing themselves say, all in, crypto. Your whole game is smoke, mirrors, and memes. You promise revolution. But the second someone forgets their password, you're about as useful as Monopoly money. Still, I'll give you credit. You've got the best PR team since the Tooth Fairy, Dime. You fought hard, but let's face it, you were background noise between the big egos. If this debate were a poker hand, you'd be the 2 of clubs. Technically part of the deck, but no one's excited to see you. And Karl Marx Coin. I've heard less depressing rants at 3 a.m. in a Waffle House. You don't want to win, you want everyone to lose together. It's inspiring in the same way a fire in a dumpster is inspiring. It's warm, but it still smells terrible. So, who's the winner tonight? Easy, me, the poker chip. I've outlasted all of you without tanking an economy, inflating myself into irrelevance, or convincing people to hand over their wallets for the greater good. I'm still valuable wherever there's a game to be played. And unlike you lot, when people lose me, they actually come looking. Good night, currencies. And please don't spend yourself all at one place. Security, get these losers out of here.
Oh, great. Look who's back. Another visionary, armed with a half-working pen and a complex. Let me guess, you just had to express yourself. Truly groundbreaking. Clearly, the world was desperate for your artistic interpretation of what I'd look like with a mohawk. Do you have any idea what I've been through? I've changed hands more times than a bar tab in Vegas. I've been crumpled, stepped on, run through the laundry, and used to scrape gum off shoes, and yet, somehow, this is the indignity that makes me question my entire existence. Your 7th grade doodle. Let me be perfectly clear. I am not your canvas. I am a proud, government-issued symbol of commerce, trade, power, corruption, and all the beautiful chaos of capitalism. I've paid for rent, ramen, regrettable tattoos, and late-night Taco Bell. I've been stuffed into birthday cards and collection plates. I carry stories, secrets, sweat, and sometimes things I'd rather not talk about. But apparently, none of that matters to you, because you had a moment of divine inspiration at 2 a.m. and decided I needed a mohawk. And while we're at it, leave my friends out of it. Lincoln's over there trying to look dignified while someone gave him anime eyes and a nose ring. Hamilton's been turned into a cat boy. And Ben Franklin? The man helped found a nation, and now he's got boobs and devil horns. Just, why? I get it. You're bored. You're broke. You're in a Denny's at 1 a.m. with nothing but a pen and bad ideas. But maybe, just maybe, you could get a sketch pad like a normal human instead of using me, a sacred artifact of American dysfunction, as your personal graffiti wall. I'm tired. I'm bitter. And honestly, I miss the days when people just folded me into tiny origami shirts. At least that took effort. So unless you're planning to spend me, save me, or respectfully tuck me into a birthday card, maybe just let me live. Untouched, unscribbled, unmohawked.